In this video, we'll be showing you how to execute a Fivetran sync and then refresh the dataset in Tableau. Let's dive in. So we're going to start this video inside of our Shipyard fleet builder here. So I'm going to go ahead and search for our Fivetran blueprints to start our connector sync here. So we're going to click execute sync. That's going to create a vessel for us inside of the fleet builder you see here. And it's also going to pop up the ability for you to click on our Fivetran authorization guide and give some instructions on filling out the information needed here for this vessel. So I'm going to close this for right now. For vessel name, I'm going to do execute sync. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the API key and API secrets that you can get from our authorization guides. Copy and paste those in. And then the connector ID, input that as well. So that's going to be unique for each connector inside of Fivetran. So I have that vessel ready to go. It's also important to note that you can set up email notifications for errors or for completion of an on-demand run for each one of these vessels, as well as guardrails for number of retries, time between retries, and runtime cutoff as well. So now this first vessel is set up, we can go set up our second vessel. So we have a vessel that's going to start the sync. We need to create a second one that's going to check when that sync is finished so that we can do things downstream from this process. So I'm going to grab my API key and API secret again. So I have both of those. I can leave my connector ID blank this time because I'm connecting it to execute sync. I can pull those together. And I'm going to change my guardrail here to make that process go a little bit quicker on that check. Okay, so now my Fivetran process is complete. So I can start my sync, and then I'm going to know the moment that the sync finishes. So now I can set up my refresh in Tableau. So I search my Tableau blueprints. We're going to click trigger data source refresh. So we can say refresh data source for the name here. Okay, so you can authenticate using username and password or access token. I'm just going to use username and password here. Paste those in there. And again, all this information that I'm inputting can be found inside of our authorization guide, inside of our documentation. So if you need help finding any of this information, we have a guide to help you out with that inside of the documentation as well. Okay, so this looks like it's ready to go. Can connect those together. So the last thing I need to do before I save and finish and run this is change the name of this. So I can name it, I'm going to name it Fivetran to Tableau. Okay, so now I can click save and finish. So this is going to take us to a page that's going to tell us that the fleet has been created successfully and allow me to add triggers or run my fleet. I'm just going to kick off an on-demand run here by clicking run your fleet. Inside of Shipyard, you can do on-demand runs like I just did, and you can click run now up here in the top right-hand corner anytime you want. However, you can also use our trigger function to run these as well. So we have scheduling triggers that you can schedule based on minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, if you'd like. And then we also have triggers, a trigger for an API trigger that you can call the API that'll kick the fleet off as well. So you can see our execute sync vessel is already finished. If I click into that, you'll see that we have our output here. We can see that the API key and API secret are hidden so that not only can other people in your organization not see those values if they click into your vessel, but also us at Shipyard can't see those values either, so they're secure for your organization. And you can also see that it tells us that the sync has been successfully triggered for that connector. So if I go back into the fleet log, you can see this check sync status. You can see it turned red, which means that Fivetran reports that it's not yet completed. So you can see that it's already retrying. So it's going to keep going back to Fivetran and asking Fivetran, "Hey, is this finished?" And it's going to say yes. It's either going to say yes or no or an error. In which case, if it says no, it's going to keep retrying to check. If it gives an error, it's just going to turn red and say that it's errored out. And if it turns green, that means that it is finished, and we can go ahead and work with our things downstream. So we're going to wait for this. We're going to wait for this to finish up, and then we'll talk about our downstream processes as well. Okay, so we can see that our check sync status is now finished. So that means that Fivetran connector has finished refreshing. So we have all of our new data, and so now you can see the refresh data source inside of Tableau is kicked off now, and then you can see that it's already turned green. So you can see that the data source customers nested was successfully triggered. So now inside of Tableau, that refresh is also triggered so that we're getting that new data directly from Fivetran. So in today's video, we discussed how you can set up a start of a Fivetran sync and then the check to see when that sync is finished. And then immediately when it's finished, a Tableau refresh can be started as well. If you have any questions about this solution or any other potential solution, use the link in the description to set up a time to chat with our team of data experts. You can go to shipyardapp.com to start building powerful workflows just like this for free. Want to see us tackle more solutions? Check out these related videos.